to the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council media briefing for week ending July 7, 2012. Facing the media is Infrastructure Secretary Hilton Sandy and Health Secretary Claudia Groom-Duke. Mrs. Groom-Duke expressed her disappointment with the Minister of People and Social Development holding a meeting regarding the Tobago Public Assistance Board.
The situation is this, that since January 2012, there has been no meeting with the local Public Assistance Board to address the applications by our Tobago clientele. As a matter of fact, I have a piece of correspondence from my administrator which states that the date when the last meeting was held was on the 17th of January 2012. As such, we have over 110 applicants who are awaiting the evaluation of the Tobago Local Public Assistance Board so that their matter can be processed for payment. As such, I have in my possession a list of names from the Administrator of Health and Social Services. And this list is coming from the Department of Social Welfare or Department of Social Services in the Office of the Social Welfare Services. And it's stating here that outstanding as at June 30th, 2012, or June 30, 2012, we have 62 persons who applied for senior citizens pension, 28 persons who have applied for public assistance grant, and 20 persons who have applied for disability assistance grant. And these matters are awaiting evaluation from the local Public Assistance Board. And as such, until this matter with regard the appointment to the Tobago Local Assistance Board is addressed and a solution comes to this situation, we in Tobago are at a disadvantage for our clientele to receive their grants.
Turning to infrastructure, Secretary Sandy begins by giving updates from his division.
As you recall, I would have made pronouncements here before of 5 bridges to be constructed on the Milford Road commencing this year. And you know that road was a very heavily used road in the past before we had the highway in the 80s. And because of the sort of traffic we are having now, it's very important that we get some part of that road back on stream, because at present the road is heavily used. It's not in the best state because it's a Bailey Bridge being used now at Lambo. And I want to report that we have received the pilots from Trinidad. The equipment is here, and sometime next week, construction, the actual driving of pile will commence next week on that new bridge to be constructed at Lambo. Also, we have received the sheet piles to be used at Runnymede. You know what, when we have the heavy rains, we had some problems at Runnymede, and the land there was slipping at Runnymede. We have received the piles on the Scarborough Wharves, and the pile driver is due to be in Tobago by Friday, hopefully, And we are hoping within the next 2 weeks, after putting in all the foundation work, we will commence driving the pile in the next 2 weeks. So that will sort of give us the opportunity to correct the slippage at the Runnymede local road. That road also, what we did last year, we have proof that the road is holding. And the problem that at the road, it was a house on the hillside, the sewage water was leaking into the road and causing the road to slip. We would have since taken the sewer out of the area, and we had the road under test for a very long time. And it is holding, and it's dried out and it's holding. So that gives us the proof that it was the water from that sewer that was causing the problem. At the Oskinskyo-Buku Junction, I would have made mention of putting in the roundabout. The surveys have been done, and by Monday, work will commence at the Oskinskyo Junction to commence construction of the roundabout. Let me take this opportunity to ask all users that there may be new traffic direction put in place that will come out soon to direct the traffic during the construction of that roundabout. And we are asking the users of the road to be careful and to be courteous as they get to the Oskinskyo Junction. And also, please obey the new directions that will be put in place to sort of direct the traffic in the various new road that we will use. Maybe the old Milford Road at a certain distance, and maybe instead of using the going in at the junction, you may be asked to go down to the mall and use the mall road down there and so on. So we're asking that the listing will come out, and we're asking that the road users, drivers on the road, be careful and obey those new road direction.
The Pentecostal Light and Life School will soon become more easily accessible via Smithfield and Sangsters Hill as plans are in train for a new road.
The Tobago House of Assembly took a decision to ease the plight of the children and the Sangsters Hill residents using Sangsters Hill Road. As you know, the children are now dropping off at the junction, which we would have asked not to happen. And the decision has been taken, and work will commence soon, to have a road coming through Smithfield onto the Pentecostal Light and Light compound, and then you go to Sangsters Hill. But you can, to get onto that road, you can come through Mount Mary. From Mount Mary, you come through Smithfield, go over the bridge. It should be constructed, and you end up on Sangsters Hill. So what will happen? Instead of Sangsters Hill Road being a locked-in village, Sangsters Hill residents and users, car who are using the Sangsters Hill Road, will now have an outlet to get out from that area. The plans and drawings are almost completed, and soon work is going to commence on that road.
With the recent parliamentary shuffle, Secretary Sandy said he expected a change in the central government-Tobago House of Assembly relationship.
I would have felt that because of the experience of the ministers who are in certain portfolios as it relates to Tobago and the matters in the fifth schedule of the Tobago House of Assembly Act, there would have been a difference with the new ministers. But it seems that probably that is the instruction to continue to create this disharmony and to interfere with areas which is the responsibility of the Tobago House of Assembly. For example, I will give you one. When I listened to the radio yesterday, and I hear the Minister of the People, or the Ministry of the People, Minister, he's saying that he's going to open an office in Tobago. for complaints. When there is a social services office in Tobago under the Secretary of Ms. Claudia Gomes-Juke and her staff, who is directly in contact with the people in Tobago. Who best know the people? Who best can treat with the people? Is the Secretary, for whom the Chief Secretary have placed that confidence in. Also, it was brought to my attention at a meeting yesterday where it was discussed that Trinta has given a contract to an American company called AECON to develop drawings or designs for a walkover at the Pentecostal Light and Light Junction on the highway. Now, highways in Tobago are the responsibility of the Tobago House of Assembly, based on the 5th schedule. I am the secretary for that division, and the dispute continues because there was no discussion with this secretary about that walkover. No discussion with the Tobago House of Assembly. Here it is, the Tobago House of Assembly has plans, has developed its policy and plans to take care of that situation by putting in a road. And then here it is, that the central government is doing a planning for the same thing, to plan a walkover. Now, this is what is causing the THA to talk of disrespect, interference, and also creating disharmony between the two islands. I am not saying that they cannot make a recommendation to the THA. I am not saying that they can offer assistance to the THA, nothing of the sort. But it's how you do it. And I am fear that this behavior, this pattern of governance to Tobago, if it continues, could create further division among the Tobago House of Assembly and the government of Trinidad and Tobago. We want to work in harmony with the government. We have been doing this. We are not fighting for turf here. It's a matter we are trying to work with the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. It may not be perfect, but by customs, the THA has the policy direction and the day-to-day control of Tobago. And I think it is not right for the ministers who has the set portfolios like the secretaries in Trinidad should come to Tobago and do things without consulting the secretaries. It is going to create disharmony. And we have a responsibility to our people. And we cannot shirk our responsibility to a minister in Trinidad. We would not do this. And I would not like to know that this sort of behavior pattern lead to another confrontational issue like what happened prior when a minister tried to pave road in Tobago during the Hochul Charles reign. A minister came to Tobago and was trying to pave the highway, and he was stopped by the Hochul Charles regime. We don't want to go down that road. That had to go to the court. So I am sort of putting this out there that the powers that be will hear and cooperate with the Tobago House of Assembly, work with the Tobago House of Assembly, work with the Tobago people's legal representative. Also, I am again saying that the minority leader who is close to the PP government, he should know better. and advise his colleagues in Trinidad that they should tone down and work together with the Tobago House of Assembly for the good of Tobago, for the good of Trinidad and Tobago.
Having given their reports, the secretaries took questions from the media.
Can you tell me about, give me an update on the Castara Road, because I know when we spoke to you sometime last year, you said work would begin early this year.
Yeah, the Castara Road. We still, as I said, the problem was identified. But we're still trying to get a way up. We had two teams trying to follow the river course up to the hills to find out the best way of getting up there to really identify the thing. We know that the water is not coming down in the river. We know the water is going off the river course, when the rain falls, and it's breaking the hillsides. So we want to get back up there and to see how best we can get machinery up inside there to do what has to be done. So hopefully by the next 2 or 3 weeks, I can report to you positively on what's happening up there, and probably get some pictures to show us if it needs be.
Secretary Groom-Duke, in terms of the Public Assistance Board, how do you see this ending? There's an impasse and nobody's budging. What's the next step?
I really would not say nobody is budging, because we have been meeting the minister and his team, his permanent secretary, and myself and my administrator, my AO5, and the director of social services. And we have been meeting. The last decision was that since the Prime Minister was reviewing all state boards, that they now will take into consideration our position. And I think that this is a place that indicates that we are coming to the end of this impasse. Nonetheless, we still need the consultation that we would need to dialogue. This is the decision that we have taken in all of our discussions, that we need to dialogue. As a matter of fact, we spoke about policies when it comes to policy decisions, that the minister and the secretary would meet. When it comes to the administrative issues, the permanent secretary would dialogue with our administrator, and the technical team would have continued dialogue. And therefore, I would not think that the minister would want to surprise me by developing an office of the Ministry of the People in Tobago without us not having that dialogue and a way forward as to how we would operate.
When were you told that the boards are being reviewed? Just to get an idea of the last meeting.
Yeah, the last meeting would have been the 21st of June. The last meeting was on the 21st of June.
What the secretary didn't tell you is that for the names to be approved, the chairman of the board comes from the office, because the chairman is the public servant. So that the public servant couldn't chair the board because there was no board, so that there could be no approval of persons, because unless the chairman is at that meeting with a board, the names that were approved, well, then we'll have to find out who approved those names. That will be illegal, because the chairman for that committee resides with the secretary in Tobago.
No, and that is why I'm saying that the minister misunderstands the scenario. The point I'm making is that these names, where we have over 110 persons who have applied, these matters are still to be addressed, because there has been no board meeting since the 17th of January, 2012. And therefore, this information that was given by the minister would just confuse the Tobago populace, because there is no board meeting to address these applications that are new. I think that is the real issue. And so it would really misinform the Tobago scenario when it comes to these new applications to be addressed.
The minister is reported as saying, quoting a figure, number of applications that have been new persons who have received assistance, senior citizens grant. I don't know exactly what, but he said at 130, I think he said, for the year have received grants and so on. My
position is that, according to the information from my office, that there has not been a meeting after the 17th of January. And therefore, whatever information he has would have been before the 17th of January 2012. That is my position.
I don't know if you are capable, if this is up your street, is the Tobago Local Public Assistance Board a state board as such, where the minister said that the Prime Minister is in the process of reviewing state boards, and it's likely that a decision, the matter would be addressed? Does the Public Assistance Board fall within the ambit of a state board?
Because the Local Public Assistance Board is an act, is a part of our law. I know that the minister considers the board a state board, right? Because it is endorsed and appointed by the cabinet. In the Tobago scenario, the Local Public Assistance Board is as it is. All local public assistance boards are local to the community. Now, the issue with this matter with the Local Public Assistance Board, because what has happened is that Trinidad and Tobago is divided into districts for the purpose of the Local Public Assistance Board. And because this law was initiated in 1951. Tobago is here represented as a ward. It says, the act says that the ward of Tobago be a local public assistance district. And all of us know that consequential changes must be made to a statement like this, because Tobago is no longer a ward. Nonetheless, because of the act and because this statement is made within the act, then Tobago is seen as a district, and not only as a district, but a ward of Trinidad.
How would you respond to the position that as the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the government has the authority to do anything, any part of Trinidad and Tobago, cabinet has direction and control any part of Tobago? How would you respond to that?
The government will have the responsibility for Trinidad and Tobago, but the sub-laws tell you how the government should do it. And the law is telling you, even though you are the government of Trinidad and Tobago, when it comes to Tobago, you must do it through the Tobago House of Assembly. Likewise, in Trinidad, in the city of Port of Spain, the government cannot go into Port of Spain and do what they want in Port of Spain. They must have discussion with the lawyer, with the mayor. As a matter of fact, much time the mayor and the government had confrontation and the government had to back down. They wanted to create a car park in somewhere in the savannah, and the mayor said no. They had to back down. So why it is that the Tobago House of Assembly is at a higher level than the mayor of Port of Spain. And here it is, you feel you can put this pressure on the people of Tobago. Because when you try to pressure the assembly, it's pressuring the people of Tobago. It's the people's representative. You are saying, look, I'm pushing you aside. It's like pushing the people aside and coming in like a bulldozer and say, what is irrespective of how you feel, I am going to bulldoze the road. It's like when you try to move the people up in the new highway, and now it's going to court. It's coming like the same thing. There's a process of doing things. The law is there, and we must follow the law. The ministers must obey the law. They must read the Tobago House of Assembly Act and get themselves acquainted with the act. And let's work together. We are not saying we can't work together. We can work together. But let us work it within the law.
This proposed project, Trinto plan, whatever, could you say which ministry is dealing with this matter?
Well, it has to be the Ministry of Works, because when the Prime Minister had made a pronouncement at James Park, she had given it to Minister Jack Warner. And we didn't take it as serious. Because at the time, on that platform there, when it was said, we realized that when they go back to Trinidad and they get sober and read the law, they will realize that it is not within their purview. But now we realize that it is not a joke. And the THA will have to take a stand on this one. I would not say what stand the Chief Secretary will want us to take, but we'll have to take a stand on this one if it really happens. It is not right. It is not good for Tobago, because here it is, Tobago is looking to move forward with internal self-government. And here it is, you are trying to pull back the internal self-government. What you are doing is giving it on one hand and want to take it back on the other hand. Because now is the time you should be setting the kind of example to show how you want to treat with Tobago by allowing the Assembly to operate, allowing the Assembly to grow, allowing the Assembly to be able to face up to all these challenges of new governance. Give us a chance. Let us prove ourselves. We've been doing this. We have been preparing our people for the transition, preparing ourselves for the transition. And I'm saying you cannot give it and take it back. This is what happened in the Indian model of the constitution of self-governance. I have read something else that where they talk about what happened on one list and the other list, and the government still has authority over that list. It cannot work. You cannot give it and take it back. I think it's time that the government, I know it's a good government for the people, as they say, and to serve the people. But if you intend to serve the people in Tobago is served by the Tobago House of Assembly. Let us do our work. Thanks very much for your assistance, but let us do our work.
Thank you for watching the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing for week ending July 7, 2012. For the Department of Information, I am Sophie Gill.